All right, we are live. Let me get this link real quick.
Okay, it showed up live too. I got a Periscope notification, Sean. So you're good.
All right, cool. Let me copy
There we
this
go.
link.
Oh, we already got a comment from OC541288. What up, buddy?
What's up? All right, so welcome to our stream. AJ, what do you want to call this stream?
Oh, well, I had an idea to call it Irish Live. I don't know if someone's already using that, but I don't know.
Can use it. But so we had some topics we wanted to discuss. I guess first off, we'll talk about the quarterback situation. Former Wisconsin quarterback Cone just transferred to Notre Dame. Do you expect him to start week one, or are you expecting still Tyler to start or Drew Pine to start? Or
We'll just do a roundtable. Paul, we'll go with you, and then myself and Sean will do that. Go ahead, man.
cool.
So I think he's going to start in Tallahassee week one for no other reason other than experience. The guy's played in a Rose Bowl. The guy's has experience in the college level against high level competition. I don't know what Florida State will or won't be, but it's Florida State and it's in Tallahassee. What I want to happen is that Cone starts. He's got those experience intangibles that can be brought to the table in the beginning, but Buckner comes along right behind them, and by the end of the season, Buckner is our starting quarterback, and will gain some important experience because he's going to be, or say going to be, like I know, but he should be the starter day one, 2022, which is in Ohio State. So we open up 1 year in Tallahassee. The following year, we open up in Columbus at the Horseshoe. So I think Cone is going to start in the beginning, and ideally Buckner follows him and takes over.
Okay, AJ, you want to go?
Yeah, I was on mute, but I fully expect Cone to start. I mean, I really think that Tyler Buchner is actually going to sit and actually learn the offense under Tommy Rees and actually understand what the pro level type of offense is that we run at Notre Dame. I think he's a lot more athletic. But we want to save him. But I think Ryan mentioned in the chat yesterday, Cone is veteran insurance, and if he can play good at Notre Dame, then that's great. But let's make this thing clear. He didn't leave Wisconsin because Graham Mertz beat him out. He broke his leg or broke his foot or something like that, and he lost his starting job. And Graham Mertz in training camp, I think they were going at it. And in college football, any job is to win, so it's to be won. So I mean, Graham Mertz won that job. He was serving him as his backup. I don't know if he was healthy until this year, but now he's transferring over to Notre Dame. I'm excited. I can expect him to start though in Tallahassee and Florida State. I mean, Florida State. I don't know what they're doing recruiting wise, but they're a dumpster fire right now. But they need to. I'll take the dumpster fire thing back. I want to try to respect these programs. They're kind of in a downfall right now. So.
Yeah. It's tough because for me, don't forget Mackenzie Milton's transferring there. I know he had that gruesome injury, but we don't know if he can come back. He could be the thing that changes Florida State to being back to maybe an 8 to 9 win team. Second year head coach, recruiting his first recruiting class. So I think that they're going to give us a little scare the first game, especially with us losing offensive linemen, depth on defense, transfer portal. We've lost a lot to the draft and transfer portal. Quarterback wise, it's up in the air for me. I think Cohen's going to start, especially week one with his experience. I mean, he didn't get it beat out like Wisconsin, like you said, AJ. He broke his foot. He's a good player. The only reason I do not want him to start is because going into the 2022 and 2023 schedule, we play Ohio State, Clemson, and I don't want I don't want Buckner's first snap to be against Ohio State. I I would like to see what would happen as Cohen start the first part of the season, and they transition Buckner later in the year, and he gets a few starts, or Drew Pine. I like both of them, but as everyone knows, Buckner's the high praise, right? He's God for us Notre Dame fans right now. So we hold him to a high standard, and we expect him to. I mean, he's that 5-star, high 4-star player that we got, and the thing we need to close the gap. We've talked about it for a long time. How quarterback play has been costly for Notre Dame, and I strongly believe that in the third quarter of that Alabama game, that Ian Book pick was what cost us the game. I think that drive, if we scored, that game would have been a lot closer. And I think that, like I said, Buckner should start just because of what we expect him to be and what he is. And even though I don't care about the competition that he faced in high school, I don't care about him only starting 1 year. The year he's the only junior in the state of California to win the best California, player award since Reggie Bush. He's talented. You got to play him.
Got to be excited for him, but like you mentioned, I'll go to Paul here in a second. I mean, maybe if he can sit behind Jack Cohn for a year and actually understand the offense, just like the way that we do it in the NFL. I mean, I don't want to make any comparisons or anything like that, but if he can learn behind a decent veteran, I mean, Jack Cohn's stats in 2019 didn't look bad, and I'm not stat picking. He actually played pretty well against Ohio State. They lost 34-21. They lost to Oregon in the Rose Bowl by 1 point. I mean, they beat 8th-ranked Minnesota when they were on that PJ Fleck high run, and now look at Minnesota. Now their entire momentum is gone. So I mean, if Jack Cohn starts 12 games, that's fine. But I think this is going to be a chance for mentorship for Buchner, whatever his last name is. I think it's Buchner. I think. But if he can learn that offense, I think, dude, he's gonna take it by storm in 2022. It's gonna be something really different. I think personally.
People in the stream, if you have any question, edge up.
But yeah,
no, I don't disagree. But AJ, to say I looked at his stats. They didn't impress me. I'm going to be honest. His production in terms of winning football games was nice, but it feels very same old with Jack Cohn coming in. I mean, I wrote some of the stuff down. Okay, he completed 70% of or 69.6% of his passes. That's awesome. That's what Book was known for before when he took over the job in 18. He was hitting all the for sure shots, right? 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 14 games. That doesn't turn the page for me. 2,727 yards. That seems like a lot, but that's 195 yards a game. He was only throwing the ball 24 times a game. Now, to be fair, Wisconsin and Notre Dame have a very similar goal: run the ball, beat you at the line of scrimmage. So he comes into a very similar situation. But 195 yards a game isn't moving the needle. So then what happens with guys like Jordan Johnson and Colsey and Styles and Watts, and Lindsey and Austin? We've got these dudes at receiver. It needs to be a position of strength. And Cohn is fine to start, but I think Buckner has the difference that can bring these guys up to the next level and take those shots and make those big plays. Because I'll tell you what Jack Cohn's not doing. He's not running the ball like Ian Book. He averaged 0.4 yards a rush in his 14 games, and before that, he was averaging negative yards per rush. He's not mobile, and that concerns me. That does concern me because Book did save a lot of face by being able to run, and I think we all know that. We can agree on that and be fairly critical. If Cohn pulls the trigger, and the times we've seen Book, and I'm sure you guys have too. Hey, dude, throw that ball. Why are you holding on to that football? There were multiple examples of it in the Rose Bowl. We're like, dude, you got to take that shot.
No, you're right.
If Cohn has some gunslinger, let's see it.
Yeah.
But
no, you're right. No, like, yeah. I mean, if I'm going to bring up the stats thing, then obviously then you have a chance to refute it. Now, I appreciate that. Like, I want this to be like a debate podcast.
yeah, for sure.
Great. That's awesome. I mean, I want to be like, in a position that like where like I knew what I was saying, but then like I was proved wrong. But then, I mean, like it's like half unimpressive, I guess. 18 touchdowns, five interceptions in what 14 games? You said 14 games, right?
Yeah, 5 picks in 14 games, that's fine. But 18 touchdowns.
It's an average. It's an average performance.
I agree with Paul. Like I said,
you cannot go ahead.
Oh, I agree with you. Ian Brooks saved us a lot of times being able to run the ball, and he simply can't run the ball. However, it could also be a difference maker, and we could say the opposite, how he can make those throws that Ian Book couldn't make, or because Ian Book, like I said, oh, throw that ball. Maybe he's going to be the person to throw that ball, So
we got some comments in the chat room.
Yeah. I was going to say, AJ,
there.
Y'all want to retweet this profile too, so you can get
followed. Yeah. Hey, Sean, throw up is it a foregone conclusion Cone will be the starter? All right. Put it on the screen.
There we go.
Because right now we're all talking. This is actually a Clemson dude. He's a buddy of mine. But we're all talking as if Cone is going to be the starter.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of talking around the reason we think that is solely experience. Because to be honest, the best case scenario that is hard to talk about because it seems unrealistic at this point is Buckner beats him out from the get. And he's under center week one in Tallahassee. And
honestly,
or Pine, but
honestly, dude, that was like if Cone never came to Notre Dame, it was going to be Tyler Buckner to start. I mean, I just think it's veteran insurance. He's going to be that guy that holds the clipper on the sideline.
Exactly, because you all play sports, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not ready in a certain situation and you have reservations and then you get your ass handed to you, where does your confidence go? It doesn't go up. I promise you that.
Ground, man. It's just not. Yeah. Buchner, you got to start him, man.
Got to comment here on that's of the spring. But if y'all want to retweet this, your followers can be on too, so we get more questions. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. And also, what's in the glass? This is Crown and Dr. Pepper. Everybody.
Ian, start. I don't know if you know this, but it's extremely likely he's in the Senior Bowl. He's posted a Instagram thing with him piecing out his locker. He's gone. He's going towards the draft. Ian Book, his time. He's this quarterback at Notre Dame. He's done what he needs to do. I mean, he still needs to win a national championship, but he's done for a 3-star quarterback to come to Notre Dame. And honestly, I think y'all could agree with this too. There's times when he first was in where at the beginning of his career when we were like, oh, I can't wait for someone better. And then at the end of his career, of course, appreciate him for everything he's done. So,
yeah,
Ian Book's gone. He had a great season. But, his time's done. It's time to move on. He was quarterback.
I'm kind of glad, not in a like, oh yes, perfect, like, but it's best for our team for him to move on.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we saw this year that if he comes back, we're gonna be talking about the same things. And I promise you, if he were to come back, I feel like one of these receivers would just leave the program, because whether it's play calling, whether it's Ian Book's decision making, whatever it is, there is no excuse for having thrown the ball 4 total times between the ACC championship and the Rose Bowl, 4 times 20 yards down the field. In today's college football, it's inexcusable.
Yep.
So whether it's Reese or Book or both, Book coming back only, to my opinion, guarantees that you're going to get that again. Mm-hmm. And we don't want that again.
Man, I'll tell you what, guys. I saw Buchner, man. Man, that deep ball is as accurate as it can get for a freshman. All right, and his his ability to sense pressure and just take off in his like this is not anything comparable to what I see in Notre Dame. Maybe it is because like he had a really good offensive line in high school, which will transition well. We got Rocco, we got Blake, we got one starter, and the other four are leaving. But like they are studying the same. And, over.
All right, cool.
Okay, so I mean, like as we go year by year, this offensive line is going to build. I mean, we saw it when we had Stanley, Big Q, and all those guys.
Yeah.
And Alex Bars and Sam Mustafir, and now we're seeing it with Eichenberg, Patterson. We're seeing it with all these guys. So I mean, we're going to keep on building it over and over again. So I mean, Buchner's dream school is Notre Dame, so I can't see him going to ND.
All right, so we got all the or like I said, y'all one. A lot of people have been transferring. There's some that go, some that they didn't. So the likes of like Isaiah are leaving. It sucks because we develop players and we're wanting them to things for next year, and they're leaving. So, Paul can go down the line like last time. You good, Paul?
I was trying to catch. I don't know if it's my connection, but it was like breaking up a little bit.
Oh, we're talking about all the people leaving for transfers.
Yeah, I heard transfer. I heard you talking about transfers, but like it kept skipping, so I didn't know exactly who you were talking about specifically. But
what's your opinion on transferring the depth of what we're going to be next year?
My concern is really two people, Griffith and Rutherford, and not even. Obviously, they've struggled to prove themselves to get on the field, but our depth in the secondary is shallow and weak to begin with.
Yeah.
They at least provided that. So you're really counting on freshmen and young guys who have definitely not proven themselves to step up, be on the field, and produce for depth purposes. Obviously, you're still going to have, I guess, DJ Brown and Kyle Hamilton, obviously, but at safety, and then at corner.
I don't know how to say his, but Etchevan is the safety 4-star we got. I think he's going to be a sophomore. He's pretty good.
And then at corner with McLeod leaving, Bracey kind of worked himself off the field.
Yeah, everyone expected him to be amazing this year, and he just went downhill. Didn't even play.
Yeah, I know. So you got one side will definitely be Clarence Lewis. Sorry, those are my kids. You got Clarence Lewis on one side, and then it's going to be a battle to see who the other corner is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who.
Y'all think it could like a freshman starting next year? Because we got a lot of good freshmen. Man,
I could probably see Ryan Barnes starting.
Ryan Barnes, or Philip Riley. He's very fit.
I could probably see both of those rotating snaps. I mean, you're going to have to dig deep into this class. This 2021 class is probably like one of the best ones I've seen since we got Jalen Smith and Ronnie Stanley and all those guys. So, I mean, man, Blake should be starting his freshman year. Rocco should be, I think, personally. I mean, I think these guys are rocks.
I think I agree.
JoJo Johnson, maybe. Probably slot a little bit. Maybe maybe special teams,
Yeah.
but maybe he might redshirt just for the sake of like how crowded the cornerback room is. But he is a 3-star recruit out of LaGrange, local kid. LaGrange is like only 5 minutes away from where I live, so yeah. I mean that's I have those 4, and then Colsey.
Yeah, of course.
Love him a lot.
Yeah, I remember when he committed for the first time, decommitted. If one of y'all want to, we have, I think, 27 commits in that class. So if y'all want to write down the names, we can go individually at the end of which ones we expect to make an impact the first year or not. That'd be awesome. Write down some of the names. But transferring, like he said, Griffith was a big one. Isaiah Rutherford, we're losing depth in the worst position we could possibly lose depth in, and defensive back. I hate to say it, but I'm on. I love him, all of his injuries. He's a role model, but time for him to go. He got burnt almost every play, especially in the second Clemson game and Bama game. But let's be honest here. It's a bad thing, but everyone's freaking out right now. Oh, we're losing all our depth. We're losing everybody. We're going to suck next year. Y'all act like
in college football programs. You lose people. Some people transfer. Some people are like, all right, I want to go to the NFL draft. It just happens, So you're just going to have to be able to go.
We're not going to come here. We just got Cohen. I guarantee you we defensive lineman and maybe another cornerback like we had in McLeod to add another starter on the other side that has experience. We're going to get people to transfer to Notre Dame too. So it's not like losing all these people aren't going to get people. The coaching staff's going to get some experience in with the transfer portal, because the transfer portal this year is bigger than ever. Like forever, it's not just Notre Dame people are leaving because of this whole extra year eligibility. People are wanting to leave. People are leaving. Leaving. So it's. I think actually next year is going to be all around a big competitive year with all these people leaving. So big one about is Rutherford. I think, was it Bauer today that just went in the transfer portal?
No, it was Jack Lamb.
Jack Lamb.
Jack Lamb did, yep.
Started in 2019, but found his way off the field. I wanted him for depth purpose, but so yeah, but
that's my thing. Jack Lamb's a great example. I focused on Griffith and Rutherford because they did provide legitimate depth. Linebacker is so deep. I don't think we're going to miss Lamb. Then you look around at the other positions. Armstrong and Smith, they were running backs. I'm going back to Jameer Smith midseason. He said he was leaving, but like most of the guys are not going to be missed because they weren't impact players. That's why they're leaving. But even at that, they're not losing depth except, again, for safety and corner. I don't think we're losing depth at running back. And we're not losing depth at linebacker with these dudes leaving. We're not losing depth on the D-line with Ovi leaving.
We won't miss Armstrong or Jameer Smith at all. I mean, we got no.
There's no way we're gonna miss them, dude. Come on, like this is the thing when we're talking about real Notre Dame, and Michael, you put it so well, man. I think that one day when you were out and about and you asked this one guy at the store that like, say, oh hey, go Irish, and then you were like, oh, hey, how's Patterson's gonna do? Well, no, I think it was how's Book gonna do if Patterson's out, right? And then he was like, Patterson. And I'm like, dude, if you don't know who the players are, then don't root for my team, dude. This is the team that I went to school for. I went to Notre Dame for 2 years, Mendoza College of Business. Fucking love it, dude. I love that place, man. But yeah, man. I mean, like going back to that point, it's just like the fans, man, just chill. Colleges do this every year. All right, athletes enter the transfer portal. We have 411 athletes, man. I mean, one of the top ones, and I'm pretty sure Tennessee's pissed about it, that I just brought up. Jarek Garantano is leaving. He's gone.
Yeah.
So I mean, think about that. They lost their starting quarterback. Now what are they going to do? So it's just like take a chill pill. Let's see what we can get. Sorry, Sean.
More topics I wanted to talk about before we probably end it, unless we have more questions. But go in depth of the 2021 class. I don't know if y'all have every recruit. And then have I want to talk about expectations for 2021. I already talked about it with AJ in the last stream, but I'd love to hear Fox. So let's talk about the 2020 recruiting class. And let me know when you start off with Blake Fisher. We'll go one by one on each recruit. Paul, what do you expect of Blake Fisher this year?
I don't think he's going to see the field this year.
Yeah.
I wish.
He's
probably
yeah,
gonna
no. Well, him and Rocco. Rocco maybe has a better shot, but I think Blake's going to learn. He's going to be our best recruiter, and
you're probably right.
he'll be ready to go next year for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't see it this year. There's guys who can come in and play, who have played. It's going to be some positional rotations where Carell's probably going to come in and still be the center. Patterson's going to move out. You still got Lug.
Yeah.
I don't see a spot for Fisher this year.
I think Fisher's gonna. I think they're gonna move someone to tackle and put Fisher at guard. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think they're gonna play him at guard, and then have Rocco. Probably, I don't think Rocco's gonna. It's tough between these two because these are two highest ranking players, right? So far in the 24/7 composite rankings and stuff. And you both want them to see the field, but offensive line is not something we should be worried about. That's the best position. We have Tosh Baker, right? So we have depth at O-line. So we probably won't see them, but if I do see them seeing the field, I'd expect one of the two to play at guard. What about, we already talked about Tyler Buckner, how we expected him to see the field at some point this year, not. What about Lorenzo Styles and Deion Colzie?
Go ahead, AJ.
Oh, man. Deion Colzie? Wow. Probably one of the best recruits I've seen at Notre Dame behind Jordan Johnson. Damn, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I think like just like Paul said with Blake Fisher and all of them, I think we're trying to save these guys. I mean, well, not save them, but like, try to like see what they have like into. I think this is like more of a development year for Notre Dame, 2021. 2022 is probably when we're going to start turning on the engine and be like, all right, see what we got, like be an actual contender. That's what I think. But like, I would love to see guys like that come in 2021 and actually go out and play. Like Ryan Barnes is a favorite. Philippe is a favorite. Deion Colzie is a favorite. I can get the offensive line sitting for a year because I remember Quentin Nelson sitting on the scout team for a year. So, and then he started games. And then when he got injured, Alex Bars, who was also another person that was on that same scout team, came in and played for him. So that was actually pretty cool. So, but yeah, I can expect those two, Rocco and Blake, to start on the scout team. And then with Deion and the two corners, I can see them play split. But really impressed with them too. Josh Baker too. I'm impressed with him.
Don't see as much as Colzie. I remember when he committed the first time, and honestly, felt he was like the 8th best receiver. Fell to like 15, and fell out of the top 100 for players. I honestly don't expect them much. I expect the star receivers to be probably a transfer wide receiver we get in. I expect Lindsey in the slot. I expect Johnson on the outside. And Colzie and Styles Jr. in too. I think that's a situation. And like Jordan Johnson, people are going to be like, oh, you have Deion Colzie and you have Leonard Styles field. What other recruits do you got up, AJ? Do you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to jump in with the.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, let's say Styles and Colzie. With Styles, he is his highlight film. Dude can return kicks. He can return punts. The Alabama game, oh my God, we literally threw in the towel on returning anything. Any three of us could have been Notre Dame's returner. You just had to be able to catch a football and stand there like a statue.
Dude, Lorenzo Styles
is
fast though. He is quick. Yo.
I wish he played back.
Lorenzo, I completely forgot about Lorenzo Styles, dude. Like, I forgot. What was his 40? 4.35 in high school?
Yeah, he's quick.
Oh my God. I can't wait.
Receivers right. Got a over you tall receiver in the class. So we have the dream for receivers in this class.
And a lot. What? I know wide receiver needs to be a position of strength. We have the guys to make it a position of strength, and we can use them in multiple ways. They don't just have to be receivers. They can be punt returners. They can be kick returners, and so on. They just have to be on the field and get opportunities.
Yeah.
So I expect Styles to be involved, even if it is just special teams. And I do think because of the lack of experience, wide receiver is wide open. Austin hasn't, as good as he's looked, he still hasn't proved anything. Lindsey has had his moments, but
Injuries.
he's teetering on the being like a gadget guy and not a 3 down receiver. He's going to come in situationally. So I just think with Johnson and Colsey and Styles and Watts, and there's so much opportunity for these receivers to be on the field. It needs to be a position of strength.
Yeah. What other got on there?
So, all right. So we talked about Rocco. We talked about Blake. We talked about Tyler. Gabriel Rubio out of St. Peters, Missouri, is a guy that I was impressed by.
Really good deal we got right there. Our top 10 defensive tackle in the class. With Heinisch coming back, and we still got Talagavoila or whatever, Tua's cousin. And so I don't expect him to see the field much this year unless they put him at DN or in situational like sub in, sub out. But he's going to be a defensive, and he's a junior that we talk about Lewis Nix the third kind of guy. Like he's going to be in there and he's going to be dominant. He is a really good defensive tackle. He will power over you. And it's funny because he's such a nice guy. If you've seen him on Twitter and like his profile pic and like how he talks and stuff, and he on the field, he's just a completely different person. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that is going to be huge for us in the future. Next year, his issue is going to be like one of the guys we're about to talk about as we go down the list. Where is his opportunity to see the field? Because while we do rotate the D line a lot, there's a lot of guys to rotate. And I don't see value in burning eligibility on him when we've got so many guys that we have to play.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And he could still do the 4 games and come in every once in a while and still redshirt. So, AJ.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I think Tua's cousin or brother or whatever it is, Tagovailoa, he's gonna start on that line, and then you're probably gonna have a guy like see, I'm looking at the depth chart for next year too. So this is probably just unofficial on ourlads.com. Jacob Lacey is gonna play. Emmett Delola is gonna play. So I mean, I think most of these guys are just gonna like redshirt and see what they can do. You know, I mean, not see what they can do. I mean, like get stronger, obviously, for 2022, and for our class for that too as well. So I mean, Notre Dame.
You still have Riley Mills?
Let me check. Oh, who? Rodney Mills? Let's see.
Riley Mills.
Riley Mills. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many guys.
Yeah. Boy, I don't see it on the.
Riley Mills, defensive end. He was in the 19 class.
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah. We still had Riley Mills. Yeah, it's on the depth chart. He's like third.
He's
yeah.
Then
But
he's
third.
Defensive end too. Who I so what? Who else?
Let's see. So we talked about Styles, Prince Collie out of Jonesboro, Tennessee. Sorry. I love Prince Collie as an outside linebacker in this defense. Dude could really just come after you. Another guy, if you guys want to talk about Prince Collie for a little bit, that's fine. Me and Sean talked about Audric Estime a lot out of New Jersey. Another good guy that could be in that power back with Kyron and Chris Tyree. I think Chris Tyree is going to move to more of a receiving role. I mean, I think he's more fit to be a receiving back in this offense. And with Kyron and Austin just running the ball, just pounding it, keep on going at it. So, I mean, behind that offensive line, you could have up to 200 yards and 100 yards receiving and 300 yards between your running backs if you really wanted to commit to the running back room. I mean, it's going to be crazy what Notre Dame does next year and the following year as well with these recruits.
We're with both
running the offense. Tommy Reese is getting his players. I'm telling you.
Because
winning Heisman, best linebacker award in high school. He's gonna be a immediate impact, I think. I mean, he might be. I mean, there's other people on the depth chart with experience, so he's not going to probably start right away. But I guarantee.
I mean, of course, Jack Kaiser is going to start over him, but like, I mean, he could, like I said, he's gonna have like, hey, what's up, man? I really think that like he's going to be able to like get on the field, maybe a couple of snaps, but like I think Kaiser's going to be that guy that anchors the defense more.
I think Colley's going to play, and he's going to. Where I think he's going to make his biggest impact as a freshman is on special teams. Because not only did he play linebacker and win all awards, he also ran for like 1,500 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then I agree. Yeah, like he's an immediate impact player, and Esteem like he said, is a stud. He literally, when we got him, as much as I wanted Will Shipley, every time I see his name or see a tweet about him, I still get a little upset about that, because I felt like Notre Dame was the perfect situation for Shipley. I mean, with his best friends, and he wanted a mix, and it was a perfect fit. And I was honestly shocked, Clemson, and I wish that recruiting, this past year wasn't canceled. They had that big visit coming in and back in March, and I honestly think if that still happened, we would have Shipley. But I'm very fine with this team. It's all perfect situation for us. We got the speedy receiving back in Chris Tyree, the number one all-purpose back in the 2020 recruiting class. We got Kyron Williams, who was a 4-star, but he was doubted career. Comes in and is a beast. We got the team. He's the power back, and he's going to power his way. We have all 3 running backs we need, honestly. So it's a perfect situation for running backs. They're all young. We're going to have them for probably the next 3 years.
Well, we have depth at outside of quarterback, but the skill positions. You look at running back, you look at receiver, you look at tight end. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really want Buchner to win the starting job, is because 1 year of Cone with these guys, okay, that'll be nice. But then now Buckner's got to jump in, and there's a new report that's kind of got to be built, and that'll happen in the spring and leading up to this season, all that. But if Buckner just comes out and wins it, oh man, to have all these guys growing together, because 2023, if all that goes the way we want it to, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. And honestly, like you said, a full spring will answer a lot of questions. The spring game is very much needed for us this year, so we can see all of our young players. And we weren't able to see Jordan Johnson in the spring game. We're going to be all the young players, and maybe some of these young players with a full spring are going to earn some starting jobs. Also, going down the list of recruits, Ryan Barnes could have the ability to be the next Clarence Lewis, guy who was not the highest recruited cornerback that we had in the 2020 class, and he just came in and started. And I mean, that's why Isaiah Rutherford, yes, it hurt, but at the same time, if Clarence Lewis comes in and starts over him, there's a reason, right? So JoJo Johnson, I don't really see as an impact player. I think for the next 3 years, he's going to be a backup, to be honest. I think special teams, and maybe his last year, he can start at safety cornerback. He's very fast, so I'd love to have him at safety. Justin Walters is an underrated safety we have, too. He's been committed to us for a while. He's very physical safety. So like Paul said it perfectly, we have enough depth in every skill position and every position except for quarterback. And honestly, we do have depth at quarterback, just unexperienced depth. So but I agree with him 100% that there's nothing Notre Dame fans should be worried about with this recruiting class is the best I've seen in, like you said, since the Jalen Smith and even the Monte Teo.
God, fuck Monte Teo. What was that, 2009?
9-10? Yeah.
9, because he was a senior in 12. So
senior in 12, so 8 probably talked to him in 7, brought him in 8.
Yeah, that was
he's
a top five.
Yeah.
So we've talked about. There's more. Sorry if I didn't mention a recruit's name, or some. We have other great recruits that we have joined the class as well. But there'll probably be.
There is one that I wanted to talk about that we liked a lot earlier, Jason Anye, like a defensive end that could potentially replace, like try to like not like be at Dalen Hayes' level, but like like half his level. Like Dalen Hayes was a hell of a pass rusher, right? But like if Anye can like grow himself into that defensive that 5-tech defensive, or I think it's a 3-tech. If he can grow into that role, then I think he could try to be a defensive end of this class too by 2023 starting.
He just is a raw defense. He needs to be built into what a Notre Dame defensive end is, and I think he can. But other players at the bottom of the class, like Joe Alt and that other like Mitchell Evans, I just don't really seeing the field. But all right, so we talked about 2021 recruits, and there's some 2022 ones good too. I'm excited for. There's a lot of recruits I want. Rice, for example, 5-star, like top 20 offensive lineman, a beast. And
I wish we got Corey Foreman, man. I would have been jumping on my bed if we got Corey Foreman, man. Like, man, that boy is just something special.
It was USC for a while.
I know. He went to California. Like he loves USC. I know I mean, I wish him the best in his career, man. Like I watched a lot of his tape. I don't know why as a Notre Dame fan, but like that's a guy that Notre Dame's probably going to have to, like, I don't know how many times we're going to be facing USC in the future, but it's probably a guy that we're going to have to game plan against going into this season.
So what is it going to take for Notre Dame to get back to that Monte Teo class, top 5 class?
I'll let Paul answer first.
Well, making 2 college football playoffs in 3 seasons helps. Kids want to go to winners. I also think the number of NFL prospects we've created is also huge. But to get to top 5, I don't want to be negative, but I just don't see it with Notre Dame. And not because that we can't get talented guys or whatever, but the guys that put you in top 5 range, we can't get. And it's not because of, and I hate bringing this up because it seems like a cop-out, but like our standards just aren't going to allow some of those guys to be in class at Notre Dame. It's just how it goes. And that makes it really, really tough. But I think we can stay in the top 10. We can approach top 5 land, but just certain things, and not to mention we're in the middle of nowhere. As much as we love South Bend, I mean, come on, and it's the winners and those things. There's just a little things that if you put it all together, it creates like a little barrier that prevents you from getting to the top 5, unfortunately. And we're going to be close. And what we need to do, forget top 5 recruiting. How about we get to a national championship game? And I think that difference is going to be in some of the names we're talking about already. I think we've got the guys, whether it's a top 5 class or top 10 class. I mean, there is some difference there, true, but we've got guys to get us to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're in the South. They got nice weather. And from what I understand, and what I understand, Clemson has hot girls too. I think that attracts some dudes there. I don't know. Exactly. Hard to look hot in a parka. Sorry. Snow bunnies only attract the kids from Canada or Alaska.
It's pretty hot parka, so I'm pretty confident. But so I agree. It's going to be tough for that top 5 class. I think top 10 is exactly where we're going to be, and I'm only the reason is 2 to 3, 2 out of the last 3 years being a playoff team. And like I talked to AJ in my last stream about this, they're never going to keep Notre Dame out the playoff if they have the resume for it that year. It's never based on you getting blown, or it's based on season. So I'm sick and tired of the whiny fans of other non-teams that didn't make the college football playoff, because the playoff teams don't complain about it. But the non-playoff teams complain, oh, Notre Dame shouldn't be in, they get blown out every year. That's just an excuse, because they were the fourth best team that year and this year. And the only one that I wouldn't have been mad about being over, because undefeated, is Cincinnati, but they didn't have the resume schedule-wise, so I understand it. However, I don't see us getting that top 5. I see us staying in top 10 for a few years, and I think it's going to take to get a top 5. It's going to take winning some New Year's Six bowls. That's why I think this year we're going to win a New Year's Six bowl. I think we're going to miss the playoff, like I said in a tweet earlier. And I think we'll win a New Year's Six bowl this year and finally end the drought. I don't care who the New Year's Six bowl is, to be honest. I just want to end that losing streak. It could be against a group of 5 team. So what's up, Paul?
I think we're finally to exactly what you're saying. You couldn't have said it any better. If you just threw it, we're finally at a place where we can win those games. Because you go back to the early 2000s, we got there because we were the University of Notre Dame. I don't think we earned that Fiesta Bowl. We got blown out by Oregon State. The game, I think it was a Fiesta Bowl again against Ohio State. But 2012, we were supposed to be there. And it did show us some things, right? 2018, we deserved to be there. Clemson was insane. I mean, find me the team that was going to beat them. Oh, wait, there wasn't one. They beat everybody.
Every year we make the playoff. This will be the second year of Alabama wins. We lose to the champions, right?
Yeah.
So I think the playoff is going to help Notre Dame to get in, for one, and two, go farther in the playoff, because they're going to – if there's an 18 playoff, Notre Dame is going to beat the teams at 8, 7, 6, because we're better than those teams. Now, are we better than the one? Like I said, we're not tier 1. We're not the Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, but we're the LSU, Georgia, that tier. So we can beat those teams and hang in with those teams. And we obviously have. We've beaten LSU multiple freaking times. I'm sick and tired of LSU fans. Multiple times.
And LSU and LSU. I don't want to knock on LSU for this amazing year that they had in 2019. But outside of that, what did they really do?
They do 9 to 10 season. They're a good tier 2 team.
But before they won this national championship with Joe Burrow, the last one they won was with Nick Saban when he was at LSU. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, man. Like I know this LSU fan that keeps on telling me that he would rather draft all these LSU players over guys like J.C. Horn or like Roseu or like fucking sorry for my language, like Penei Sewell. I'm like, dude, calm down. Let's relax, all right? LSU just had this crazy year with a phenomenal QB, 4 great wide receivers, a great running back. It was just an incredible offense. Like, it was no credit to Ed Oregon or anything about that, dude. The players got that trophy, man.
Yes.
Players, dude, they were so fucking good, dude. LSU, no team can replicate that. No team is going to replicate that. That was an insane season.
Let me say this, though. Them winning a national championship, if you say anything to a LSU fan, they're going to use that, which is fine. They can. Which
is great. That's okay. But, like, you're not going to do that again. You're not going to go get a Joe Burrow and, like, scramble 10 seconds in the backfield and throw it up when Justin Jefferson is right there and go for a touchdown. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah, I don't understand these two team, and we beat them over and over. And we hang in there with the Georgia. It's crazy that they say Notre Dame does not play anybody. We play Georgia. We have a really good games with Georgia. We beat LSU. We beat all like good teams. Just the teams that everybody looks at as Alabama, Clemson. They see we get blown out.
Yeah, we're finally at a place where, and I'm definitely older than you guys. I'm 36, but Notre Dame is finally where we're beating the teams we're supposed to beat every time we play them. The problem is the teams that have equal or better talent were either competing or getting run off the field. Now, it still looks better, but I think we're firmly cemented in that like 4 to 6 range. You've got Clemson, Bama, Ohio State. And then there's a clear drop off. But Notre Dame's probably the top of that next list with Georgia and Oklahoma, maybe, I guess. Even though for some reason they always go and get run off the field, but nobody says shit about that. Whatever.
Oklahoma plays the toughest games against Kansas State and Iowa State, and
Kansas is tough too.
Yeah, but Kansas is tough too, right? But then, like, let's just say if Oklahoma goes 9-3, their fans are like, "Oh, why isn't Oklahoma in the playoff? Because just because we lost to Iowa State and Kansas, well, that's because why you're not in the playoff, because you lost to Iowa State and Kansas State post Bill Snyder. So if you lose to Kansas State post Bill Snyder, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Do you remember the year when we beat Texas 30-3? Back maybe in 20. Yeah.
To open the season. I thought it was 38-3. You're
38.
chopping off 8 points. We had 38.
Yeah, don't
That but Notre Dame beat Texas, blew them out, had the same record as Oklahoma, who lost to Texas, and they had Oklahoma above Notre Dame in the rankings. That made zero sense to me that year. I was like, we beat the team you lost to. We crushed them. Why are they ahead of us? We have the same record. And Oklahoma, I do believe in the next few years is going to be a stud program. However, no one talks about Oklahoma every year they've gotten in the playoffs, except for the Georgia game. They get blown out by Bama, by LSU, by anybody. So it's just Notre Dame. It's just what you got to take it. You got to take it. You either love them or you hate them. I made a poll about that the other day, and I firmly think that you either love Notre Dame or you hate Notre Dame. But I guess to end the stream, we'll talk about one more topic. 2021 season. What are records? What do y'all think the record's going to be? Our toughest games, and what's going to stand out? You could start with Paul and then go down the line.
I don't know. The problem is I don't know enough about some of the teams. Beginning of the schedule, I don't know enough about what Cincinnati's going to be next year. They're probably going to lose Matt Freeman.
Notre Dame, dude, we just took away their man. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but man, if we can,
yeah.
I'm getting excited, dude.
That's my point. I don't know what their coaching staff's going to be, let alone the players on the field. Wisconsin seems like a threat, but they had a big drop off this year. That might have something to do with the freshman quarterback because they didn't have Jack Cohn who broke his foot, who's now with us. I really do see. I see an 11-1 record. I really do, and the reason I see that is I don't think we're equal to Wisconsin, but I think we can beat Wisconsin. I think we've got more skill players than Wisconsin. I'm not worried about Cincinnati. Then you come to USC. USC has been building more talented guys. They lose these weird games, but it's USC. They've got dudes.
They show up to Notre Dame.
And then Stanford to end the year. Who knows what the hell Stanford is?
Dude,
but
in Notre Dame's evening, always. USC has the biggest beef with us.
Yeah. That's the only game that really preseason concerns me.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
There was Sam Howell also concerns me a little bit. Looking through the schedule.
That's right. He's coming back. I forgot. Yeah. North Carolina could be interesting. Howell's back. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I looking at the schedule, like I said in my other stream, the AJ, this is independent schedule. This is probably, and there's some tough games on it, but the easiest Notre Dame schedule I have ever seen. It is easy. We should be able to go in game. We're Notre Dame. Go in and beat Wisconsin. Go in and win. We have more skill players. We've done better the past. We're one of 5 teams past 3 seasons to win 10 plus games. So show them we're Notre Dame. However, losing players and stuff, I do think we have a scare first week against Florida State. And then going down the line, I think we're going to Brian Kelly against his former team, Cincinnati. I think we're blowing them out. And then I think that Wisconsin, we're going to win because it's in Chicago, right? Notre Dame's not going to go into Chicago, their second home, and lose, right? The only one that really concerns me is USC and North Carolina, and North Carolina's at home, so I mean that gives us an advantage right there. If there's fans, hopefully by then this chaos is done, and then
there's a vaccine coming out.
Yeah,
we're good.
So,
oh man, hurry up with that vaccine, man! I want to go to South Bend and probably kick it with one of y'all guys if y'all can get there. It'd be pretty cool, man. I mean,
but John just pointed out our tough games are going to be at home or a second home, so that's huge.
Yes.
The only games that are in question, we're playing in South Bend or Chicago.
USC is away. That makes me. You remember our 12-0 year back in 2018 last week.
We're home. We're home against USC this year.
We are.
Yeah, we're
because we end the season. I'm looking at it right now. We end the season at Stanford.
Yeah, we're not going to lose to South Bend against USC.
And that of 2018, the last time we played them, we were home. So, our 20. No, we were away. Dang, you're right. So yeah, my bad. But yeah, so all of our tough games are going to be home, which is an advantage right there. So I believe we're going to go 11-1. I wouldn't be shocked if it was 10-2, but I don't see undefeated, and I don't see worse than 10 wins. So I think streak of 10+ games.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I'm going to go with 11-1. The low I think would be like 9-3. The mid would be like 10-2, and the ceiling of this team is 11-1. I really think they do drop a game here somewhere. It's probably going to be since I don't know. Wait. So we got Florida State, Toledo, Purdue, Wisconsin, and Chicago, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, USC, North Carolina, Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Stanford. Stanford is in Palo Alto, so I think maybe it's been a while since we played at Stanford, so we could be in for a rude awakening for the last game of the season.
They've struggled. So see how they do.
But yeah, that would be my game. But like, I mean, if Notre Dame's focused, they can go 12-0. I think. I mean, like the schedule is cake, guys. Like every big opponent is at home, like except for Sandman, Virginia Tech. But that's at Sandman. So
yeah.
we can go in there.
Two things. One concern everybody has is quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And I got two questions. One, were you overly impressed with Mac Jones's skill set and playmaking ability in the Rose Bowl?
No.
Okay. Why was Mac Jones so good? Because of Devontae Smith, because of Najee Harris, because of Mechie, and so on. Heads up, we have those guys. Jack Cohn or whoever it is under center doesn't have we'd love to see it, don't get me wrong. But if you design an offense to get these dudes, Colsey and Johnson and Kyron Williams and Tyree the football, we don't need Trevor Lawrence under center. We don't need Justin Fields under center. So the people that are saying, "Oh, we're going to go 9-3 because of our quarterback," well, I think that don't blame the quarterback. Blame Tommy Reese and Brian Kelly for not realizing the skill guys we got and get them the football. And my second question is: are we all in agreement that if we go 8-4, it's an absolute disaster and a train wreck and unacceptable?
Yes.
Like, I think 9-3 kind of teeters on that. 8-4 would be an absolute just disaster.
9-3 is you're right, teeters on that, and I don't.
Yeah, that would be the floor if something terrible would have happened. But like that's like an injury, like a season-ending injury to like an offensive lineman or like to our running back maybe. But like no, I'm not gonna wish any injuries on my guys. I mean, I love all our guys, all 100 of them or 120, however many guys we have on this team. I love them all. But like I mean, it's just like injury permitting or anything like that. 10-3 is the low. I mean, the ceiling is 11-1 or 12-0, I think, and the mid is 10-2.
This is also most likely going to be Kyle Hamilton's last year.
Oh.
He's gonna. It's gonna be or
Dude,
his.
he's gonna be Hitman
pick.
2.0. Dude, he's gonna be insane in the NFL.
Question.
Just how it is.
We lose that big stud, but oh my God, he's so good. We'll be fine. No reason to concern. I'm excited.
Jalen Elliott, right? Jalen Elliott. Then we transitioned to Kyle Hamilton and all those. We had Aloy Gilman, right? So we transitioned into Crawford and Kyle Hamilton in the back. So I mean, yeah, I think we'll be okay. And Crawford's gonna be back next year. So
No,
he's not. He said no.
Yeah. Not come back.
Sorry. Okay, well, good. He's not gonna be back, but we'll be okay, guys. We'll be okay. Optimism. Keep the optimism.
I saw that. Yeah, he's upset. I honestly, I think it's time for him to go. And I think, like I said, I love him with his injuries, but he got burned a lot. And I want to see a young player play over him. So, yeah,
it's funny. Crawford actually liked one of my tweets where I was bashing him during the season.
Yeah.
And you think he would have, you saw it. And I know I'm just a fan. I'm just some dude in Texas. But, my gripe on him, it was part of getting burned, but he should have had 4 or 5 interceptions this year. And it was like he was deliberately not playing the football. He purposely went out of his way to not try to attack the ball or catch the ball. And I called him out for it. I screenshotted the flight of a ball, and he liked the tweet. And I'm like, then dude, fix your shit.
Yeah.
Now that makes me some sort of excited that he's gone now. I mean, yeah. I mean, there are a couple of plays that I'm like, okay, Crawford, what are you doing, man? I mean, but then you look at Kyle Hamilton. I mean, he almost took that guy's head off. But I mean, I thought it was a clear hit. I mean, refs are going to be refs, but oh, man, we're going to be okay. Notre Dame fans, we're going to be okay. We replace guys pretty well in South Bend. So, and I guess Sean and Paul would know more about that than I do because they're into this recruiting thing than I am. So, insane.
Yeah. I honestly times a day on and research and read all that. So, but yeah, I think that's a great 1 hour stream. We'll definitely do one. I'm probably going to do a stream every week. So it's great having y'all. Definitely can have y'all again. There could be up to 6 people on this. So I'm going to probably figure out how to upload this to YouTube and start a YouTube channel for it. And let's get it. Go Irish. I'm going to end the stream here.
Go Irish. That was all fun. Thanks, fun.